Okay, I think we have time to do another sutta. 128, Upakkilesa Sutta, imperfections. Kilesa, this word kilesa can be translated as defilements also. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was living at Kosambi in Gosita's park. Now on that occasion the monks at Kosambi had taken to quarrelling and brawling, and were deep in disputes, stabbing each other with verbal daggers. Then a certain monk went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he stood at one side and said, Venerable Sir, the monks here at Kosambi have taken to quarrelling and brawling, and are deep in disputes, stabbing each other with verbal daggers. It would be good, Venerable Sir, if the Blessed One would go to those monks out of compassion. The Blessed One consented in silence. Then the Blessed One went to those monks and said to them, Enough, monks, let there be no quarrelling, brawling, wrangling, or dispute. When this was said, a certain monk said to the Blessed One, Wait, Venerable Sir, let the Blessed One, the Lord of the Dhamma, live at ease, devoted to a pleasant abiding here and now. We are the ones who will be responsible for this quarrelling, brawling, wrangling, and dispute. For a second time and for a third time, the Blessed One said, Enough, monks, let there be no quarrelling, brawling, wrangling, or dispute. And for a third time, the monk said to the Blessed One, Wait, Venerable Sir, let the Blessed One, the Lord of the Dhamma, live at ease, devoted to a pleasant abiding here and now. We are the ones who will be responsible for this quarrelling, brawling, wrangling, and dispute. I'll stop here for a moment. These Kosambi monks, in the Vinaya books, is mentioned they had a big quarrel, big dispute, which lasted a long time. So this probably refers to that one. Then when it was morning, the Blessed One dressed, and taking his bowl and outer robe, entered Kosambi for alms. When he had wandered for alms in Kosambi and had returned from his alms round, after his meal he set his resting place in order, took his bowl and outer robe, and while still standing uttered these stanzas. When many voices shout at once, none considers himself a fool. Though the Sangha is being split, none thinks himself to be at fault. They have forgotten thoughtful speech. They talk obsessed by words alone, uncurb their mouths. They bawl at will. None knows what leads him so to act. He abused me, he struck me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who harbor thoughts like these, hatred will never be allayed. For in this world, hatred is never allayed by further acts of hate. It is allayed by non-hatred. That is the fixed and ageless law. Those others do not recognize that here we should restrain ourselves. But those wise ones who realize this at once end all their enmity. Stop here for a moment. So, the Buddha, after trying to tell the monks not to quarrel, many times they refused to listen to him. He had enough of them. He decided to leave. So these few words the Buddha uttered is found in the Dhammapada. These words are very important because all through the history of mankind, even up to today, there's a lot of wars, a lot of fighting, a lot of hatred. And because people don't know the Dhamma, they practice like this teaching, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So these wars and hatred and fighting never ends. So the Buddha says, you cannot put out fire with fire. If there's a fire, you must use water. It's the opposite. Then only you can fight fire with water. So in the same way, when there's a lot of hatred, only metta, loving kindness, compassion can help. Breakers of bones and murderers, those who steal cattle, horses, wealth, those who pillage the entire realm. When even these can act together, why can you not do so too? If one can find a worthy friend, a virtuous, steadfast companion, then overcome all threats of danger, and walk with him content and mindful. But if one finds no worthy friend, no virtuous, steadfast companion, then as a king leaves his conquered realm, walk like a tusker in the woods alone. Better it is to walk alone. There is no companionship with fools. Walk alone and do no evil. at ease like a tusker in the woods. This last part is interesting because in this world, most people are fools. Most people who live a normal life, they don't practice the Dhamma, they are not interested in the holy life, in the holy spiritual path. So they enjoy life, and at the end of life, they find they have to take rebirth in the woeful plains of rebirth. So the Buddha says, if that is so, if you can't find a good spiritual friend, then walk alone. Don't mix with fools, because if you mix with fools, you have to join them and do what they do. Then, having uttered these stanzas while standing, the Blessed One went to the village of Bala Kalona Kara. On that occasion, the Venerable Bhagu was living in the village of Bala Kalona Kara. Then the Venerable Bhagu saw the Blessed One coming in the distance. He prepared a seat and set out water for washing the feet. The Blessed One sat down on the seat made ready and washed his feet. The Venerable Bhagu paid homage to the Blessed One and sat down at one side. And the Blessed One said to him, I hope you are keeping well, monk. I hope you are comfortable. I hope you are not having any trouble getting alms food. Stop here for a moment. So this Venerable Bhagu appears to be one of those solitary monks who love to live alone, away from the quarreling monks. So the Buddha came to this place and met him. I am keeping well, Blessed One. I am comfortable and I am not having any trouble getting alms food. Then the Blessed One instructed, urged, roused and encouraged the Venerable Bhagu to talk on the Dhamma, after which he rose from his seat and went to the eastern bamboo park. Now, on that occasion, the Venerable Anuruddha, the Venerable Nandya and the Venerable Kimbila were living at the eastern bamboo park. The park keeper saw the Blessed One coming in the distance and told him, do not enter this park, recluse. There are 3 clansmen here seeking their own good. Do not disturb them. The Venerable Anuruddha heard the park keeper speaking to the Blessed One and told him, friend park keeper, do not keep the Blessed One out. It is our teacher, the Blessed One, who has come. Then the Venerable Anuruddha went to the Venerable Nandya and the Venerable Kimbila and said, come out, Venerable Sirs, come out. Our teacher, the Blessed One, has come. I stop here for a moment. This part is a bit similar to the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta 31, where these 3 monks were living together and the Buddha went to them. But in that Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 31, they had already attained Arahanthood. Whereas here, they had not yet attained Arahanthood, as you can see later. But this Venerable Anuruddha is one monk. Even before he attained Arahanthood, his psychic power already developed. So probably because of that, when the Buddha was told by the park keeper not to enter, with his divine ear, he heard, probably. So he told the park keeper to allow the Buddha to come in. Then all 3 went to meet the Blessed One. One took his bowl and outer robe. One prepared a seat. One set out water for washing the feet. The Blessed One sat down on the seat made ready and washed his feet. Then those 3 Venerable Ones paid homage to the Blessed One and sat down at one side. And the Blessed One said to them, I hope you are all keeping well, Anuruddha. I hope you are comfortable. I hope you are not having any trouble getting alms food. We are keeping well, Blessed One. We are comfortable and we are not having any trouble getting alms food. I hope, Anuruddha, that you are all living in concord with mutual appreciation, without disputing, blending like milk and water, viewing each other with kindly eyes. Surely, Venerable Sir, we are living in concord with mutual appreciation, without disputing, blending like milk and water, viewing each other with kindly eyes. Stop here for a moment. This in the Vinaya books, the Buddha encouraged monks to live together, maximum 3 monks together. It's only in the big monasteries many monks live together, because a lot of them were new monks that needed to be trained. But those that had completed 5 years of training under a teacher, the Buddha encouraged them to go off and live alone, or 2 or 3 together, not more than 3. because for various reasons, when you have too many monks staying together, sometimes they talk, they hinder each other from their practice, and sometimes they can't get along. And also, when too many monks go on Pindapata, alms round, it's a burden to lay people. So like outside Vasa here, generally only 2 monks will go Pindapata, alms round. Only during the Vasa, because we have many people, then 3 monks go, just to let the lay people know we have more people here. And then he asks, but Anuruddha, how do you live thus? Venerable Sir, as to that, I think thus, it is a gain for me, it is a great gain for me that I am living with such companions in the holy life. I maintain bodily acts of loving kindness towards these venerable ones, both openly and privately. I maintain verbal acts of loving kindness towards them, both openly and privately. I maintain mental acts of loving kindness towards them, both openly and privately. I consider, why should I not set aside what I wish to do, and do what these venerable ones wish to do? Then I set aside what I wish to do, and do what these venerable ones wish to do. We are different in body, Venerable Sir, but one in mind. The Venerable Nandya and the Venerable Kimbila each spoke likewise, adding, that is how, Venerable Sir, we are living in concord, with mutual appreciation, without disputing, blending like milk and water, viewing each other with kindly eyes. Stop here for a moment. So this is how people, when they live together, especially in a monastery, we should act, we should have metta towards each other, openly and in privately, and also not think that people should do according to what you think should be the way it should be done, but set aside your own opinion and do what the majority wish to do. Sometimes a lot of dispute and friction arises because people are strong-minded, want everybody to follow what they think should be the way things should be done. So here, these 3 monks, because they appreciate each other's company, they set aside what they wish to do and follow what others want to do. Good, Anuruddha. I hope you all abide diligent, ardent and resolute. Surely, Venerable Sir, we abide diligent, ardent and resolute. But Anuruddha, how do you abide thus? Venerable Sir, as to that, whichever of us returns first from the village with alms food, prepares the seats, sets out the water for drinking and for washing, and puts the refuse bucket in its place. Whichever of us returns last, eats any food left over, if he wishes. Otherwise, he throws it away where there is no greenery, or drops it into water where there is no life. He puts away the seeds and the water for drinking and for washing. He puts away the refuse bucket after washing it, and he sweeps out the refectory or dining place. Whoever notices that the pots of water for drinking, washing, or the latrine are low or empty, takes care of them. If they are too heavy for him, he calls someone else by a signal of the hand, and they move it by joining hands. But because of this, we do not break out into speech. But every 5 days we sit together all night discussing the Dhamma. That is how we abide diligent, ardent and resolute. Stop here for a moment. So here you see how they are very cooperative. Each knows what to do. When anything needs to be done, they just do it. And they don't talk to each other. But when they talk, they only discuss the Dhamma. This is once in 5 days. Good, Anuruddha. But while you abide thus diligent, ardent and resolute, have you attained any superhuman states, a distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of the Aryans, a noble, comfortable abiding? Remember, Sir, as we abide here diligent, ardent and resolute, we perceive both light and a vision of forms. Soon afterwards, the light and the vision of forms disappear, but we have not discovered the cause for that. We should discover the cause for that, Anuruddha. Before my enlightenment, while I was still only an unenlightened bodhisattva, I too perceived both light and a vision of forms. Soon afterwards, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I thought, what is the cause and condition why the light and the vision of forms have disappeared? Then I considered thus, doubt arose in me, and because of the doubt my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that doubt does not arise in me again. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent and resolute. I perceived both light and the vision of forms. Soon afterwards, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I thought, what is the cause and condition why the light and the vision of forms have disappeared? Then I considered thus, inattention arose in me, and because of inattention my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention will arise in me again. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent and resolute, etc. I considered thus, sloth and torpor arose in me, and because of sloth and torpor my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention nor sloth and torpor will arise in me again. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent and resolute, etc. I considered thus, fear arose in me, and because of fear my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. Suppose a man set out on a journey, and murderers leaped out on both sides of him. Then fear would arise in him because of that. So too, fear arose in me, and so the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I considered thus, I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention nor sloth and torpor nor fear will arise in me again. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent and resolute, etc. I considered thus, elation arose in me, and because of elation my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. Suppose a man seeking one entrance to a hidden treasure came all at once upon 5 entrances to a hidden treasure. Then elation would arise in him because of that. So too, an elation arose in me, etc. And so the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I considered thus, I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention, etc., nor fear nor elation would arise in me again. I stop here for a moment. So here, the Buddha said, before he was enlightened, as he meditated and the concentration arose, when the concentration rises up, comes up, then this light appears and vision of forms. But because the concentration is not strong enough, it's still the concentration still wobbles. So when these hindrances come up, then this light and the vision of forms disappeared. So these various hindrances are doubt, inattention, sloth and torpor, fear, elation. Just like some people, when they meditate, light appears, they're very happy, and because of that they are distracted, and so the concentration goes down, so the light disappears. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent and resolute, etc. And I considered thus, inertia arose in me, and because of inertia my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention, etc. will arise in me again. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent and resolute, etc. I considered thus, excess of energy arose in me, and because of excess of energy my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. Suppose a man were to grip a quail tightly with both hands, he would die then and there. So too an excess of energy arose in me, and the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I considered that I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention, etc., nor inertia nor excess of energy will arise in me again. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent, resolute, etc. Then I considered thus, deficiency of energy arose in me, and because of deficiency of energy my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and vision of forms disappeared. Suppose a man were to grip a quail loosely, it would fly out of his hand. So too a deficiency of energy arose in me, and so the light and vision of forms disappeared. I considered thus, I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention, etc., nor excess of energy nor deficiency of energy will arise in me again. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent, resolute, etc. And then I considered thus, longing arose in me, and because of that longing, my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention, etc., nor deficiency of energy nor longing will arise in me again. Stop here for a moment. This longing is the longing to see the light and to see the forms, etc. Just like some people, they meditate, they want results. So because of their longing for results, they cannot progress. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent, resolute, etc. Then I considered thus, perception of diversity arose in me, and because of perception of diversity, my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention, etc., nor longing nor perception of diversity will arise in me again. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent, resolute, etc. Then I considered thus, excessive meditation upon forms arose in me, and because of excessive meditation upon forms, my concentration fell away. When my concentration fell away, the light and the vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention, etc., nor perception of diversity, nor excessive meditation upon forms will arise in me again. Stop here for a moment. This perception of diversity, I guess, refers to the diversity of the forms, different type of forms, and the diversity of light, different type of lights. Because of the seeing different things, perceiving different things, so his mind got a bit scattered. When Anuruddha, I understood that doubt is an imperfection of the mind, I abandoned doubt, an imperfection of the mind. When I understood that inattention, sloth and torpor, fear, elation, inertia, excess of energy, deficiency of energy, longing, perception of diversity, excessive meditation upon forms, is an imperfection of the mind, I abandoned them, imperfections of the mind. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent and resolute. I perceived light, but I did not see forms. I saw forms, but I did not perceive light, even for a whole night, or a whole day, or a whole day and night. I thought, what is the cause and condition for this? Then I considered thus, on the occasion when I do not attend to the sign of forms, but attend to the sign of light, I then perceive light, but do not see forms. On the occasion when I do not attend to the sign of light, but attend to the sign of forms, I then see forms, but do not perceive light, even for a whole night, or a whole day, or a whole day and night. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent and resolute. I perceived limited light, and saw limited forms. I perceived immeasurable light, and saw immeasurable forms, even for a whole night, or a whole day, or a whole day and night. I thought, what is the cause and condition for this? Then I considered thus, on the occasion when concentration is limited, my vision is limited, and with limited vision I perceive limited light and limited forms. On the occasion when concentration is immeasurable, my vision is immeasurable, and with immeasurable vision I perceive immeasurable light and see immeasurable forms, even for a whole night, or a whole day, or a whole day and night. Stop here for a moment. So here you see concentration is important. When the concentration is limited, then his vision is limited. But when the concentration is immeasurable, then his vision is immeasurable. When Anuruddha, I understood that doubt is an imperfection of the mind and had abandoned doubt, an imperfection of the mind. When I understood that inattention is an imperfection of the mind and had abandoned inattention, abandoned sloth and torpor, fear, elation, inertia, excess of energy, deficiency of energy, longing, perception of diversity, abandoned excessive meditation upon forms. Then I thought, I have abandoned those imperfections of the mind. Let me now develop concentration in 3 ways. Thereupon, Anuruddha, I developed concentration with applied thought and sustained thought. I developed concentration without applied thought, but with sustained thought only. I developed concentration without applied thought and without sustained thought. I developed concentration with delight. I developed concentration without delight. I developed concentration accompanied by enjoyment. I developed concentration accompanied by equanimity. When Anuruddha, I had developed concentration with applied thought and sustained thought, etc. When I had developed concentration accompanied by equanimity, the knowledge and vision arose in me. My liberation is unshakable. This is my last birth. Now there is no renewal of being. That is what the Blessed One said. Remember, Anuruddha was satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So this last part, concentration with applied thought and sustained thought, this refers to vitaka and vichara. Sometimes translated as thought directed and thought sustained. That is only found in the first jhana. And this with sustained thought, this also refers to the first jhana. Then without applied thought and without sustained thought, this is the second jhana. With delight, this is the second jhana. And then without delight is the third jhana already, accompanied by enjoyment, still the third jhana. And then accompanied by equanimity, it can be considered as the third jhana or the fourth jhana. In the fourth jhana is utter purity of equanimity. So here refers to developing the four jhanas. So when the Buddha said he had developed the four jhanas, then only he attained liberation. So that's the end of the sutta. So this is another sutta talking about the different concentrations. So you can see from the sutta that concentration is the criterion for being able to see light and to see forms. And when the concentration is immeasurable, then the vision is immeasurable. When the concentration is limited, then the vision is limited. Okay, we stop for the suttas here. Anything to discuss?
And they have encouraged and they don't use the good life wisely. They do not restore the truth, but when people are educated, normally they will live the good life wisely. The truth will go better.
So what you're saying is when somebody has an aspiration, he will do the right thing. Not necessary. If a person doesn't know the Dhamma, then it's not likely that he will always do the right thing. For example, just to give you a simple example, if a man is rich and he goes hunting, he likes to go hunting, shoot wild boars and all that. So because of shooting wild boars and killing, his life is going to be short. But if he doesn't understand the Dhamma, he thinks he does a lot of charity because he's a rich man. He does a lot of charity. He's sure to get long life. Because doing charity means next time when he comes back, he can become wealthy. He can be provided with what he needs, food, all the requisites of life. But because of his killing karma, he must have short life. That's why nowadays we can see some children are born in a rich family, but 1 year old or 2 years old or 3 years old, they have cancer, leukemia, and they have to pass away. So if you don't understand the Dhamma, you don't know the Buddha's explanation of karma vipaka, you do the wrong thing. Very often people have the right intention, but the wrong action. For example, there are some people, they want to be blessed. They want to have a lot of blessings and a lot of good luck. So they pray to God in heaven and they kill the lamb, or they sacrifice the pig, or they kill the chicken and offer to heaven. By doing all these things, you're creating bad karma, evil karma. So instead of getting blessings which he wants, He's getting the opposite of blessings. Getting curses.
People don't get anybody maybe somebody is still an example of what referring to myself or somebody that tries to harm another person or tries to kill him. Then the difference comes. So even if he doesn't hit that person, let the right for him not to have any relationship with that person.
Yeah, it's okay not to have relationship with somebody who harms you. It's all right. So we avoid lah. If you are not able to radiate loving kindness to him, the sight of him itself will make you boil. So you go away from him lah. Just like somebody says some nasty words to you, and you can't stand it. So you better walk away. If you don't walk away, you boil like you burst. Is it necessary to attain the jhanas before you practice the Brahma Vihara? Well, you can practice the Brahma Vihara or try to practice before you attain the jhanas. But it is easier to practice it with the jhanas. In the suttas, the Buddha recommends that disciple attain the jhanas first, then only he can radiate this Brahma Vihara. Without the jhanas, we cannot really radiate the Brahma Vihara, but we can practice it through our body, speech and our mind. So like through our body language, through our verbal language, we practice loving kindness towards others, through speech and through body action. Oh yes, if a person can radiate metta, it's a sort of psychic power, If you really can radiate metta, then even the birds will come and sit on your shoulder, the animals, even wild animals will come to you and all these things. Not something very ordinary. Very few people can actually radiate.
The last part of the Dhammavuddho, the Buddha says that for the benefit of terrible therapy, very minor therapy, for the benefit those in the practice of mind, that we now develop concentration in 3 years. That it is that the Buddha has abandoned the Buddhism plus the other Christians, then we develop the jhana.
So you want to know why?
Yeah, well, we say that we develop the jhana in a way that after we mention that we can how the error because of the other paragraph that describes how the sometimes have been practiced in the athletic community from the forward community and to use different ways to overcome the problem. Every time we overcome all these ways, then we get how we develop the system or
these hindrances here are more than the normal, than the 5 hindrances, the standard 5 hindrances lah. But these are also common hindrances faced by people who meditate lah. So after the Buddha noticed, the Buddha says after he noticed what is the obstacle, then he abandons that obstacle, and then after that, before he can attain the jhanas, develop the concentration, he must abandon the 5 hindrances, the standard 5 hindrances, sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. So this, we know from the suttas, is when he attains the threshold concentration. So he must go through the threshold concentration, abandon the 5 hindrances, then only get into the jhanas. This perception and light and perception of forms is not the nimittas referred to in the Visuddhimagga. This is actually the light emanating out from him, so that he can see. It's like the opening of the third eye, the heavenly eye. So this the Buddha encourages. Psychic powers are things that the Buddha encouraged. Yes. It's not the nimittas referred to in the Visuddhimagga. That one is about like if you mindful of the breath, then they say the breath becomes bright. But this is not. This is the I believe is the light welling up, so that the third eye opens up, the heavenly eye. Oh no. Okay, you can stop here.